From the Depth Instant Tutorial.
You should be most welcome to Jimadism Total Nerdery channel. From the Depth Instant Tutorials Instant Battleship. Have you started to play this game and wondering how in the earth am I going to build a battleship and how long time will it take for me to finally come to this beautiful step? Well, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to show you how to instantly make a beautiful battleship, because this game offers a lot of templates. And today we're just going to go through and use templates already in the game to make a battleship. So basically what we need to do is click the B key for building, and then when we get into the menu here, we can find the different templates on the different menus here. And if you go down here to new blueprints, here we can find some different hulls and stuff. And since we're going to do a little battleship, we're going to use some of the modular frames. Now we need to do this little thing here. Go in here and select the 4-beam wooden block. Make sure you know where the arrow is pointing, because this is the direction of your vehicle. And then you put down a tidy length, which is pretty long, which is the length of your battleship's middle part, basically. And then we have the Dreadnought A and B blocks. I think the B one looks more like the front block, so make sure you take a little note of where your vehicle is heading and which direction you're building, and we can just plonk it down there. Then we can click on this little trash can and we decrease this little value to mere 4 like that, and then we can capture it, and now we can extend this to the length we desire the ship to be. And when we feel ready, we can go and select the other part, which is the A part, and make them connect just like that. And now we have very easily built a hull. Fantastic. And whenever you're building, you can click the V key as in Victor, and you can see how many materials your current build is costing. Anyways, we can release it down by pressing caps lock, and since this is all metal and we don't have any parts in it yet, it will probably sink. So we can click tab again or caps lock again to get it into the air. Fantastic. We can see that we have the decking block as a kind of little building block here, and if we click F, we can fill these areas with decking, and of course clicking N, we can get a little build plane. So where we want to do like that, have just a simple sheet layer here. Now normally I would recommend you to not have the decking block and instead have one sheet of metal and one sheet of wood instead, because it's more value for your money. But we're going to go with just decking like this to save some time. And there we go, we have successfully made some type of deck on this thing. And now this deck isn't particularly strong, so we should probably reinforce this later. But in any case, this thing doesn't even float, and to solve this problem, it can be smart to have a little bit of wood on this thing. So wood also adds armor, so at this level particularly, we will just point down here and click F to fill this entire base with one sheet of wood. And also to make it stronger and more floaty, we're going to go up here on below the decking part and click F to have one sheet of wood here as well. And now when we plop this down into the water, we will probably float. But we are probably only barely floating. So what we're going to do is we're quickly going to add underwater. We have an air pump. And an air pump can only lift a certain volume, and to utilize more volumes we will need to make compartments that are isolated from each other. But right now we're going to add some quick internal pieces into this thing. And what do we need? Any ship needs an AI, and we're just going to plop down an advanced AI right there. So we have an AI. We're going to go to fuel engines, and we're going to add a nice strong engine in here. This engine produces exhaust, so we're quickly going to set up some kind of exhaust system. And there we go, we now got an exhaust system. Any vehicle needs material storage, and we have a fuel tank for it, so we're going to go over to the resources tab. And here we're going to go to material storage and add a nice big material storage container, or maybe two. And then we need fuel as well. So we go back here and go to fuel and see if one large fuel box is enough. And it is not, so we will add a couple of more. Then of course we need ammunition later. And ammunition is quite explosive, so it can be a smart idea to spread them out a little bit so that they won't chain react and not blow up anything too important either. Any ship needs some kind of control tower, so we're going to build that, but to not add too much weight to the hull, we're going to do it with alloy. Lightweight alloy, which also floats even better than wood, by the way. And here we can add a little chair so that we can sit inside of there. Alright, very nice. And if, of course, if we want to, we can have a little ship's wheel here too, so we can control the vessel. Any ship needs some kind of detection, so we go to AI and detection and see what different types of components we have here. I made a much more extensive tutorial on this, so please check it if you want to. But basically, radar wants to be high up in the air, 360 radar there, and 2 radar trackers. Fantastic. We're also going to connect up some other type of detection. Now these can be a little bit offset in order to not block each other. We're going to have a 360 camera, laser rangefinder, camera gimbal tracker, and we can also have some redundancy, of course. It's also good with a lot of redundancy actually, especially on big ships. So even a little IR tracker there, and that should be absolutely acceptable. Anyways, now that we are in the AI, we can click Q and we can set up the AI, which can also be done if you click on C and click this vehicle inside of there. So add behavior. What type of behavior do we want? Perhaps we can set it up at a circle. Combat distance, we can set it to 700 meters and let it be that. Now we click this to make it active. We can set some special adjustments here. And we can select vehicle type, set it as on water. Maneuver, we can add it as ship or tank. It's now active. Alright, this will be all for this basic configuration. Now we're going to add some propulsion and steering, and this usually sets up itself, so we just need to add some stuff, which is very nice. So we go to water, and here we have propellers, and then we can add a couple of huge propellers, and remember that the propellers needs to be underwater. And if we hover over this, we can see it's set as a pusher preset, which is exactly what you want. And of course, having only one propeller, and particularly only there, won't probably suffice. So we can just go down here to make some nice propeller mounts. So we can have one here as well. And remember that the more propellers you have, the higher top speed you also can have. Now, we need some kind of steering. And it's smart to use different types of steering. Like we can add for a little rudder, we can add a couple of rudders here in the back. To complement these, we can also add a couple of these regular propellers, and you can see they are automatically set up as Turner preset, which is exactly what we want. So since we're sitting in the control seat, we can try and speed up our propellers here and see that we can indeed reach 10 meters per second. Now we're going to weaponize this thing, so we need to add some different types of weapons. So if you go to missiles, for example, we can add a couple of missile systems here. It's smart to have different types of weapon systems. Set up a symmetry plane. So here we can have one there, and we can have one here. And if we click P, we can see inside of this thing, and we can see they are already set up with a local weapon controller, a failsafe and everything. So we don't need to touch them while we have set this up. Fantastic. Then we of course have some other types of systems like cram cannons. And if you want to have the turrets that are like this, you need to make a little hole so that they can stick out over the hull. This will allow you to have much more powerful turrets. If you want that, you need to make a hole in the deck, and that can be a good idea to do. And there are a lot of different weapons, so just set up some nice deck howitzers and stuff like that. And if you go to advanced cannons, we even have the Mamba and the Copperhead, and these have integrated everything, so you don't need to make the ammo piece yourself either. We can just plonk down one there. Very easy. And we can plonk down one here in the back as well. Now we also have the simple weapons, and we can have a couple of these as well. It's probably a good idea to have some kind of anti-air solution. If we want that, we need to connect up some local weapon controllers ourselves behind these. And the local weapon controller can't be 2 blocks under it. We actually have to have only 1 block in between, and we can have it under it like that. Like that. And if you want to be real lazy, you can just go to AI and you can go to local weapon controller and select the all-in-one, and you don't need to set up anything. You can just plop it down like that, very easy. Okay, fantastic. And we click P to make them show miniatures like that. And selecting this all-in-one block gives us an integrated failsafe as well. Very nice. Any battleship should also have some kind of defensive solution for incoming missiles and cram shells and stuff like that. So we are going to go to the defense tab, and here we have the munition warner. And we need a couple of these, and these don't need to be connected up to anything really. We just need to have a couple in each direction. We are expecting to deal with incoming fire. So how do we set it up? It's quite similar. So we can just go down here in the middle, and we have 2 blocks thick, so we need to thin it out here. And then we have under defense, we have the close-in weapon system controller all in one, just like the previous one. So we can have one there, and up here we can go to simple weapons and select a reasonable weapon to put here. We can do like this to get a feeling of what's on top. Something like that, and hopefully they should deal with incoming fire. So now we have a really shitty and really quick little battleship. At least it's large and we have a lot of cannons, so hopefully we can deal with some enemies. Oh, and it can be a smart idea to have several layers of armor inside of here. One thing we should check is to see materials extractable per minute, and we estimate your weapons require, oh, that's a little more. So we need to spawn 1 more ammo box for this particular vehicle to reach our ammo supply limit. Now we can see we have some cram shells incoming, and I believe this marauder will be dead pretty soon. And there it goes. What about the squadron of incoming aircraft? Well, let's see what our different weapon systems can deal with this. And you can see our cannons are actually taking out missiles and decoys alike, of course, in the air. Very nice. Well, well, well. Our 5-minute battleship is no match for a small squadron of airplanes. Now I almost forgot this thing, but what we definitely should have is to go to miscellaneous and select repair bots. We should have a good couple of repair bots just in order to repair the holes that we get over time. Because even though we have a decent 5-minute battleship, it will take damage, and these little guys repair the damage with the materials we have stored. And there we have it. That's how to build a quick 5-minute little battleship using templates. And if this tutorial was helpful, please leave a like and, well, do try it out. You can build big with a very small knowledge of From the Depth. You just need to use some templates and you're there in no time. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this little super quick tutorial, and I'll see you next time. By the way, you can save sub-objects and prefabs yourself, like the ones we spawned here, if you build some really good ones. I do it all the time. Well, do stay tuned and subscribe. I'll see you next time. This is Jimadism, Total Nerdery Channel, and we're signing out.